What's that sound? That's the sound of a turkey hunter calling in a tom. Today I'm going to talk about the preparations for turkey hunting and the steps to take during the actual hunt using these essentials. I have learned a great deal about turkey hunting through both my dad and also through trial and error. I have been turkey hunting for the past 5 years. Now I'm going to discuss the sport of turkey hunting and the essentials needed for the hunt. First, I need to discuss the preparation needed to do before going hunting. The first thing to know is the difference between a male and a female turkey. A young male turkey is known as a jake. It will be much smaller in size and have a short hair-like fiber coming out of the front of it, known as a beard. It will be very short. A full-grown male turkey is known as a tom. It will be much larger in size and have a much longer beard. The longer the beard, the older the tom. The tom will also fan out its tail feathers and get a bright red head while trying to attract a female turkey. A female turkey is known as a hen. It has a bluish-gray colored head and makes a clucking noise and is much smaller in size compared to a tom. Now I'm going to talk about the licensing process. In order to be able to hunt a turkey, you must have a license. I'm going to talk about the spring turkey hunt in Minnesota. So the first type of license you can get is a shotgun license. If you want to hunt the first seasons, you actually have to put your name in a lottery. Basically, it's like putting your name in a hat, and only so many names for certain parts of the state get drawn. If you want to hunt the later seasons, you can just buy those over the counter at your local gas station or outdoor sports store. All of those licenses are good for either one jake or one tom. Another license you can buy is an archery license. You can only hunt the later seasons with this license, but it is also good for one jake or one tom. Now I'm going to talk about the essentials for turkey hunting. There are two main essentials that many turkey hunters like to use during their actual hunt. The first thing is decoys. Many turkey hunters like to use a minimum of 2 hen decoys. They make both rubber and foam decoys. Either one will work as long as you have the silhouette of the turkey out in front of you. Another type of decoy hunters like to use is a tom decoy. This is especially helpful during the breeding season in the spring. One tom will actually fight another tom for the hens. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the different types of calls hunters like to use during the hunt. The first type of call I'm going to talk about is the box call. Basically, it's a wooden box with a paddle and some slate on it, and you rub it across it to make a noise. That's the sound of a turkey clucking. It is a two-handed instrument, which is the downfall of it. The next type of call I'm going to talk about is a slate call. Basically, it's a round disc with a wooden striker, and you strike over it to make the noises. It makes many more noises than your typical box call, but it also is a two-handed instrument. And the third most common type of call is known as a mouth call. It's a plastic piece you put into your mouth, and it also makes the clucking noise of a hen. The advantage of the mouth call is it's hands-free, so you can be calling in a turkey while getting ready to shoot. Now that I have told you about the basics of turkey hunting and the essentials needed for the hunt, I'm going to describe to you what a typical day hunting looks like using these essentials. So the first thing we need to talk about is setting up. Many hunters like to go out at least one day in advance and find a place to sit. A good rule of thumb is to find an open field or an opening in the woods or a place where high traffic of turkeys are walking through to get to a field to feed during the day. Many hunters also like to sit in blinds. It helps them protect their movement from the turkeys seeing them. Other hunters prefer tree stands, and other hunters also prefer just to sit on the ground behind some brush. So now that we're all set up, I'd like to talk about the decoy setup. Basically, you're going to want to set up the morning of or the night of your hunt. You're going to first determine however many decoys you want to put out. You're going to put them all in front of you, and you want to make sure you can see them. You want them at about 30 yards. If you are going to be using the tom decoy, however, you're going to want that farthest away from you and facing in on your hen decoys. A turkey that is a male, so a tom turkey, actually lurks over its hens, so that's what you're creating in your decoy setup if you're using the tom decoy. So now that we're all set up, we can talk about the different types of calling and tips for calling. So first, the first tip for calling is use your preferred call, or try all of the different types of calling. Once you've figured out what type of calling you would like to do, don't call too much and don't call too little. So knowing that balance between call a little, take a break, call a little, take a break, will be the best. Don't sit there and wait all day and just call twice. So just knowing the balance of how much to call. Then you're not going to also want to call too early in the morning. Turkeys rest up in a tree and you actually want them to come down and come over to your decoys. You don't want them to wait in the tree and wait for the hen to get to them. Another thing is once you see your tom in front of you, you don't want to make loud noises. You want to just do little clucks here and there. So that's all you'd need just to keep their attention. So now hopefully you have a turkey standing in front of you after calling it in. So there are two quick things you need to determine. You need to determine the sex. So is it a male? Remember, look for that beard. Because in the springtime for a turkey hunting, it has to have a beard in order for you to shoot it. And the next thing is to determine the range. Is it too far out? Is it behind a tree? Is that something I feel comfortable shooting at? And then finally, once you quickly determine those things, it's time to shoot. But a big question hunters have is, well, where do I aim on a turkey? If you're using a shotgun, a good rule of thumb is to aim for the neck and head. Basically, when you pull the trigger and the shot goes out, it's going to explode BBs. You want that spread of BBs to hit the majority in the neck and head. That'll be an instant kill. Now, if you're using a bow and arrow, hitting the head or neck is a small area. So if the bird is facing you, you're actually going to want to hit above the beard. The vital organs in a turkey are much higher than we actually think they are. Now, if a bird is standing broadside to you, meaning sideways, and you're using a bow and arrow, you're actually going to aim for an arch in the feather wing. In the wing feathers, there's going to be an arch. You're going to aim right there. Once again, you're going to hit those vital organs. And if the bird is walking away from you, just aiming for the upper mid-back so you can break their spine. And you'll also probably hit some of those vital organs as well. So hopefully you shot your first turkey or another bird if you have been turkey hunting before. So now the next question is, well, what do I do with it? The next step would be to tag your bird. You're going to take your license and you're going to punch out the date in which you shot your bird. Then you're going to tie this to the turkey leg. You need all the turkey intact until you register your bird for transit. Registering your bird has to happen within 24 hours to the state. You can do it either online, by phone, or at a registration station. They're going to ask you a few quick questions like, what is your license number? What type of bird did you shoot? So a Jake or a Tom. And what day did you shoot your bird at? Once you have registered your bird, you are free to do with whatever you want with your bird. Many people like to take pictures, eventually gut it and clean it, and eat it. And a lot of turkey hunters like to trophy the tail feathers and beard and eventually hang it on their wall. So in conclusion, I hope everyone learned a little bit more about turkey hunting and the actual techniques used during the turkey hunting. So whether it's the sound of the gobble coming closer, your love for the outdoors, or the adrenaline rush of shooting your first turkey, turkey hunting is a sport you can love and continue for the rest of your life.